So as he said, we're doing it differently this year, and usually have 1 or 2 speakers, and we have 15. And we gave them a challenge to take all the things that they want to tell everybody in this room and condense it to 5 minutes, accompanied by 20 images. That's really hard. And I want to thank the presenters not only for their time today, but for accepting that challenge. I think it's going to be exciting. I hope that these presentations will stimulate our conversations today and tomorrow, and possibly lead to collaborations after the symposium. So it's going to be kind of fast-paced. We'll see how this goes. We're going to start with Lora. So if you want to come up to the podium.
I'm the first guinea pig.
You're the first one.
Okay, since I was the first one up here, I thought I might need some illustration of what this actually means to be a partner with somebody. It means that you aren't always focused on yourself. And so I think in our society, actually it's great because we know that this conference is really focused on partnership and collaboration, but there are so many potential partners out there. If we work with them, we have an opportunity to do so much more than just the project. We could actually affect system change, which is what we really like to see. So individually we should be working, but also as partners, with our partners. So this is a real story. This is the city of Elkader in northeast Iowa. Much like any other city along a big river these days in the Driftless area, devastation with flooding. And so they tried to think about really, why is it flooding? And they said, well, because rivers flood. Well, who's impacted? Just the people in the floodplain, really. They shouldn't have built there. And, you know, government, they should bail us out. So they really focused on those specific answers instead of actually looking at the real story. They said, what's the solution? Well, let's just, you know, sandbag. In fact, Iowa City in northeast Iowa spends $4 million in one flood event, in one rainfall event, sometimes sandbagging. So what should they have looked at? Well, they should have said, you know, communities other than ourselves are also being devastated by flooding. And we're actually having 100 or 500-year floods annually. We have the same amount of rainfall every year, but it's coming in greater amounts. And the hydrology of the watershed has really changed. Stream banks are eroding, soil and nutrients are being lost, conservation practices are being destroyed, taxes are going up, county roads and bridges are being destroyed. And the people who's impacted? Really everybody. And so who's responsible? Well, it's not just the people in Elkader or the people in one community, but it's people throughout the watershed. And working together, we probably could make something happen. But individually, Elkader couldn't do that by themselves. What we've done in the past is said, well, we're going to have FEMA come in and buy out the houses, and we're going to build higher levees, and we're actually going to spend a lot of money fixing those roads and bridges, which are going to be washed out again in a couple of years. Instead of doing that, this past couple of years, the Turkey River Watershed Management Authority was formed, and Elkader is one of the community members of that. And it's really a creative collaboration that hasn't happened before in Iowa. Here's Elkader right there. And they said, we can't fix this flooding problem by ourselves. We're going to join the Turkey River Watershed Management Authority along with 23 communities, 7 soil water conservation districts, and 5 boards of supervisors, county boards of supervisors. And those folks all come together. Our organization helps lead that discussion, and they're developing a plan to reduce flooding and improve water quality. And to do that, all those people have decided, you know, we can't do this on our own. We can each do something, though. And so they're not just developing the plan, but the plan is actually a plan of what they're going to do. So it's not just what they think someone else should pay them to do, but we actually broke this watershed board up into committees: fisheries, education, the soil and water commissioners, producers, producer groups, all different committees. And each of those committees says, this is what we will do. So the engineers say, we will do something. We will actually start controlling things differently within the watershed. We will manage things differently. We will adopt policy. And indeed, all boards of supervisors have adopted new policy to think differently about how they spend their money. Let's quit putting in bigger culverts, right? So, we want to reduce flooding, we want cleaner water, and somebody asked me, how are you going to measure whether or not you do that? And I said, well, will we have reduced flooding? Will we actually have cleaner water? Will we actually have policy change? So we actually want to measure it. So the Watershed Management Authority said, yes, we have measures of success. There will be actual measures. So I've told you about this group, the Watershed Management Authority over 1 million acre watershed that they're working in. But actually, that's a silo too. We don't just want to focus on ourselves. There's an opportunity here to think, you know what, the Driftless area, a much larger area, may be having the exact same problems we are. And so, as Beth mentioned, or Jeff mentioned, recently, people from throughout the Driftless area came together. Trout Unlimited helped unite us, and we submitted a regional conservation proposal to NRCS USDA for funding. It wasn't funded, I hate to tell you, but that doesn't mean we won't keep trying, because the partnership and the opportunity is there, and if we take it together, we can make a bigger difference. We can change systems. Thank you.